So with Splatoon 3 coming out in 2022, if you haven't picked up the second game yet on the Switch, you might be thinking, is it too late for me to do that? Should I wait for the third game to come out? Or should I go out right now and pick up Splatoon 2 on the Switch? So to answer the first question I just posed, it's not too late to pick up Splatoon 2 on the Switch. There are still a lot of people playing this game. There will still be a lot of people playing the game as well. Last year in Europe, it was the 17th most played game on the Switch, and in Australia it was the 18th most played game. So you will still find matches online. You will easily find matches on Splatoon 2 if you do go and pick up the game right now, and I will show that off in my next video. So if you do pick up the game, you will have a lot of fun playing it. I cannot recommend this game enough in terms of how fun it is. I have put in around about 800 hours into the game, which is nothing compared to a lot of people out there who have put in over 1,000 hours, 2,000 hours into the game. The reason why people have put in so many hours into the game is due to how fun it is. Pretty much you can log into the game and it feels like you are only playing the game for 5 minutes. You look at your clock and you realise you have been playing the game for 5 hours. That is just how much fun the game is. Time definitely does fly when you are playing the game. It is my favourite shooter on the Switch. It is one of the best shooters ever made in my opinion. I cannot recommend the gameplay enough. It is a really strong experience, and if you do pick up Splatoon 2 before you do go into Splatoon 3, you will have an advantage over anybody who will just go straight into Splatoon 3 without playing the first or second game, because Splatoon is a unique shooter. There is nothing quite like it out there. It will take you a little bit of time to get used to the mechanics and for you to sort of improve in terms of your gameplay, how well you do in matches as well. There is a learning period there. So if you do pick up Splatoon 2, that will just give you a little bit of time to practice with the mechanics and get used to the gameplay before you do go into the third game. So yeah, in that way it is good preparation for Splatoon 3. But this game is 5 years old, and unfortunately with Splatoon 3 coming out, that does mean that Splatoon 2 will not get updates. It will not get stages, weapons and Splatfest events that were pretty much events that did run every month in Splatoon 2. Splatoon 3 will get all of that sort of stuff, but there is already a lot of content for you to sort of explore in the game already. There are so many stages in the game, so many weapons for you to try out. You will not get bored with the content already in the game, but it is also important to bear in mind that to take full advantage of Splatoon 2, you will need to buy the game, which is rarely on sale. It is still full price, $60. You will need a basic Switch online membership to play the main part of the game, which is the online multiplayer. So that is another $20, and the Octo expansion DLC, I cannot recommend that enough. You definitely need to pick up the Octo expansion DLC. It is much better than the single player already in the game. That is another $20. So to get the full experience of Splatoon 2, it does cost $80. So my advice for you is, if you can't afford to pick up both Splatoon 2 and Splatoon 3, you will need to pick up a basic Switch online membership before you do go into Splatoon 3. That is an important factor to bear in mind before you do make a decision. But if you can't afford both Splatoon 2 and Splatoon 3, my advice for you is to wait until Splatoon 3, because that will be the game that will get constant support in terms of balance updates, in terms of new content like new stages, new weapons. That will be the game that will probably get a single player DLC at some point, as well as monthly events called Splatfest. So yeah, I don't feel like you can go wrong. If you can afford to pick up Splatoon 2, then I will definitely recommend you to pick up the second game. But if you feel like you might get burned out on Splatoon before you do go into Splatoon 3, say like if you do play back-to-back Splatoon 2 and then Splatoon 3, and you feel like you will get a little bit bored of the Splatoon formula, then yeah, my advice for you is to wait until Splatoon 3. But in terms of preparation for the third game, I feel like the best way to prepare for Splatoon 3 is to play Splatoon 2. So I guess it all depends on whether you can afford both or not, and whether you think you will get burned out on the Splatoon formula if you do play it pretty much all year round. So yeah, that is my advice for you. But in terms of whether you will have fun playing the second game, you will definitely have a lot of fun, and yeah, it is a great experience. And yeah, that is just my thoughts on this topic. So yeah, maybe wait. If you can't afford to buy both, but if you can, then I'll definitely recommend you picking up Splatoon 2. It is a great way to prepare for Splatoon 3. But that is pretty much it for this video. Hopefully this video has helped you out a little bit and answered some questions you might have had going into this video. But that is pretty much it for this video. I will see you in another one soon.